in. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and it sound light, and it sound light, and it sound light.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official. It's official.
Combine season is upon us.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Triune.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
Let's go.
All you haters better be coming. This the day you've been waiting on your road.
Welcome everyone to the Short Sports Show. I am your host Daniel Short, and today is February 3rd, 2016, and you know what that means. It is National Signing Day. And welcome everybody to the video version. It's so, I don't know. I was trying to think of an intro the past couple days. I can't really think of one. Welcome everybody. If you're brand new to the channel or haven't even heard of my show, I've been on doing this for about, well, this will be my third year. And we've been on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and been on YouTube, just an audio version. Now you guys can watch it on YouTube, on the Short Sports Show. Check it out. It is awesome. That intro you just saw is special thanks to Triune featuring EQ. You can buy their album Raised to Fail, Born to Succeed on iTunes right now. I am so excited. I got National Signing Day right here, which there we go. And it's awesome. It's amazing that we're able to do this. I want to thank everyone for supporting me. Whether it's on Twitter, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spreaker, everywhere. You guys have been absolutely amazing to allow me to have this studio and be able to do my show. It's a different thing I'm able to do, and I'm just absolutely blessed. I'm still gonna add a few more things. I don't know how much I zoomed it in, so I don't really know how much I'm showing. I know what I'm showing, but anyways. I'm going to add some stuff up here on the wall. I mainly, as you see, at TCU, I got to support my team, TCU, National Signing Day. Funky Town 16, let's go. I got some Chargers stuff over here. Antonio Gates, TCU helmet, Texas State Bobcats, got to represent. Daily Scripture today. Laptop that I'm not using right now, but will. And National Signing Day right here. So I'm absolutely, I'm pumped. I'm ready for this. And again, thank you guys. And let's get it started. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Of course, talking about National Signing Day, some college football news, and then going on to the NFL, discussing some of that, and as well as doing our Super Bowl 50 preview. As again, remember, the Short Sports Show is on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. Actually, I have no idea what time it's going to start. I'm aiming for 1 o'clock, hopefully sooner. It just depends with video rendering. Definitely takes a while. So let us get started. I'm going to be looking back and forth just because I'm actually going to unplug my phone. Again, because National Signing Day, want to keep up with Twitter and with the show. They're just doing a bunch of boring interviews. But anyways, let us move on. Again, to college football news. The NCAA says its board of governors have voted to extend the contract of President Mark Emmert for another 3 years. Going all the way to 2020 of October. In a statement released by the NCAA on Monday, Kansas State President and Board Chairman Kirk Schultz said Emmert is integral in leading the association forward as we navigate the complex and challenging way ahead while better supporting student athletes. Last time I checked, really been slacking there. Emmert has led the NCAA since 2010. He was previously the president of the University of Washington Huskies. Just messed up there. You know, you always got that one person where you're just like, why my school? You know, being in Seattle, Washington, I loved it, and you know, it's a question mark. Why? Hopefully he does some better things. Baylor quarterback Seth Russell announced Monday that he is cleared to resume football-related activities 3 months after he suffered a neck injury that ended his season. Now, he threw for 2,104 yards and accounted for 35 total touchdowns in 7 starts in 2015, leading all FBS quarterbacks in passing efficiency. He suffered damage to his cervical vertebrae on a hit in the fourth quarter of Baylor's 45-27 win over Iowa State on October 24th. Then had surgery in November and is now good to go to participate in spring practice, which is good for Baylor as they got some quarterbacks ready to go with Jarrett Stidham, Seth Russell now. You know, I don't really care. Clemson Tigers wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, the star of college football playoff final. He caught 2 touchdown passes in the national championship game. Well, he broke his pinky finger on his right hand playing basketball with, it's okay, Coach Dabo Swinney's son. So it's not like he went out, played a pickup game, and had the injury. It's okay. He had it with the coach's son. So, you know, the coach can't be too mad because, you know, he allowed it. It was with the sons. But the good news for Clemson fans, the injury's not going to keep him out of spring practice. He's going to be able to go on February 29th. Now, he's a redshirt freshman last season. And again, he got 2 touchdown passes from Deshaun Watson in the 45-40 loss to Alabama in the national championship game last month. Doesn't even feel like it was a month ago. Now, Renfrow has also had a touchdown catch in the Oklahoma game, and he finished the season with 33 catches, 492 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Some other news is Alcorn State. Now, while we don't talk too much about the FCS rank, one of my favorite quarterbacks and the guy that got me into football was Steve McNair. Rest in peace. Now, Alcorn State has named Fred McNair its new football head coach, promoting him from after 4 seasons as an assistant head coach and quarterbacks coach. Now, he, of course, is the older brother of the late Steve McNair, who played quarterback in the NFL for 13 years with both the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, both of these guys, Fred and Steve, both played quarterback at Alcorn State. So, you know, it's not like he's just the brother of Steve McNair. And McNair replaces Jay Hopson, who led the Braves to back-to-back Southwestern Athletic Conference titles over the past 2 seasons before taking the Southern Mississippi job on Saturday. So, you know, I like this. It's a good opportunity for Fred McNair to show what he's got. You know, obviously very bad timing because I don't know how a National Signing Day works for Alcorn State, but getting all these guys saying, hey, look, it's good. I'm going to run this program and I'm going to do it right. So, I like it. I wish the best for Fred McNair. I'm now going to actually follow Alcorn State a little bit, well, a lot more. I've never followed them. I wish the best for Fred McNair. I hope he can do well. But again, we have National Signing Day today, February 3rd, and it's been an absolute blast early morning. As you see, it's only 8 o'clock over here in Central Texas, and TCU is pulling in a ton of great recruits that we've got. Sadly, we weren't able to get the KD running back and Kyle Porter, and also defensive tackle, I forgot his first name, but his last name was Christmas Giles. Weren't able to get him. Both went to Texas, so Texas is starting to move up on the rankings. And honestly, for me, I don't mind and I don't really care where we go rankings-wise, whether we're in the top 20, which is what we're looking at, you know, because what Gary Patterson has done, and I'm not going to get all TCU rant here, but what he's done with, you know, being able to recruit 2- and 3-star guys, and even guys who weren't even stars, and be able to take them and make them, you know, top college football players, and even some of them going to the NFL, it's been an amazing thing. I mean, look at Trevon Boykin. It was like a 2-star, and Andy Dalton, 3-star. Jerry Hughes, who's just dominating the league at the defensive line for the Buffalo Bills. He was a 2-star. I think he was even a running back in high school, converted him to defensive lineman, tore it up in college, and became a first-round pick, and now dominating the NFL. So the fact that we're getting some 4-stars and things like that, and top JUCO players, I'm excited. I truly am for this season. It's gonna be something special, guys. I promise. But yeah, it's exciting for what is going to happen. And Chris Daniels, Euless Trinity, defensive lineman, just picked up Texas. So that is now 7 defensive tackles for Texas Longhorns. That's incredible. Great for them. I guess I don't really care about Texas. Who does? No, I'm just kidding. Moving on to the NFL, since college football, that's really it. I mean, I'm gonna stay up to National Signing Day. Just showing commercials. Come on, ESPN. That's the thing. I like when I stream and watch ESPN and whatnot, but I hate when they repeat the same commercials every time there's a commercial break. It gets really repetitive and boring. But anyways, moving on to the NFL. Now, Colts owner Jim Irsay believes there's a good chance that the team will sign franchise quarterback Andrew Luck to a contract extension that is worth up to 9 figures. That's incredible this offseason. Now, the Colts have picked up Luck's fifth-year option, which is a $16.1 million for the 2016 season last spring. And Irsay knows that Luck, who obviously was the number 1 pick in the 2012 draft, will be one of the highest paid players in the NFL once he gets a new contract, saying, quote, whether it's going to be the highest and all those sort of things, we'll have to see how that goes. I see Andrew here, God willing, for a long time. And this won't be his last contract. With him at 26 years old, it's going to be the ringing the bell in terms of 9 figures and that sort of thing, end quote. Now, Luck led to the Colts a step further every year in his first 3 years in the playoffs. And then just, kind of had a rough year this year. It's coming off his worst year with only 15 touchdown passes, committing 13 turnovers in just 7 games. But he did miss 9 games because of a rib, a shoulder, a kidney, and abdominal injuries. Now, Irsay said Luck's lacerated kidney, which ended his season in Week 9 against Denver, is finally healed. So he should be ready to go for his lacerated kidney. That's all going to be good. But if for some reason the Colts and can't make a deal with Luck, just money, which is most likely the reason, by the end of the 2016 season, they can use their franchise tag on Luck for the 2017 season, which would give them a 1-year deal worth the average of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. But again, Andrew Luck is looking to be a very, very rich man. I think we all knew this. And a guy that did get paid is defensive end Vinny Curry. And he's agreed to a 5-year deal worth $47.25 million for the Philadelphia Eagles, including $23 million guaranteed. Is just where he's come from to that huge. Now, the Eagles have been just tossing money to all these players. They've signed Curry, offensive tackle Lane Johnson, tight ends Brent Selleck, and Zach Ertz. All 2 contracts worth a total of $165.75 million. Now, they're expected to complete a deal soon with Pro Bowl defensive lineman Fletcher Cox as well. So they're really racking up these guys saying, hey, we got to keep y'all. New management. We're doing this in a different way. And, you got to like a lot of these signings. Now, money-wise, I don't know if Lane Johnson was worth the contract that he received. He's been well, but, there's some question marks still. But Vinny Curry, I love it. He's a guy who had 9 sacks this past season. I think he had 3.5 the year before that. But he's really improved. He's got big size, 6'3", 2-something. And it's just, he's a guy you're going to be hearing about along with Fletcher Cox, a Pro Bowl defensive lineman. Now, all good things must come to an end. And while it wasn't really a good thing, Johnny Manziel's time with the Cleveland Browns is all but over. And it starts what happens in March. According to a league source, the Browns released a statement from the director of football operations on Tuesday that expressed disappointment in Manziel, but stopped short of saying the quarterback's run in Cleveland is over. But, they kind of hinted and just kind of said, yeah, we're going to release him, but we can't do it just yet. This is what they had to say. We've been about expectations for our players on and off the field. Johnny's continual involvement in incidents that run counter to those expectations undermines the hard work of his teammates and the reputation of our organization. His status with our team will be addressed when permitted by league rules. We will have no further comment at this time, end quote. That is what Sashi Brown, the new director of football operations, had to say on Tuesday. The reference to the league rules points to the fact that the Browns do not have the salary cap space to release Manziel on February 8th, the day after the Super Bowl, and the first day they can do so. The move will take place when the new NFL year starts, which happens to be on March 9th. Now, releasing Manziel in February would count $4.6 million against the cap, but the cap will increase for the Browns in March, which will allow them to release Manziel then without any problems. And that's what it's looking like is going to happen. Now, the Heisman Trophy winner started 8 games for the Browns, and it looked like, some of those games, they honestly looked promising. He showed flashes, and especially later, that, he would step up in the pocket. He would deliver the ball much better. It's just the offensive line, honestly, majority of the time. Now, yes, I am a Johnny fanboy. I am. I'll admit it. That's the first step. You got to admit it. And, I'm trying to keep hope alive for him. Off the field, he's slowly dying. He's not doing the right things. On the field, sometimes, some games, he honestly looked good. But again, in starting those 8 games and appearing in 15, completed 57% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 74.4 with a record of 2-6 as a starter. Just not enough to get it done. But, while there's hope and, saying, hey, he's got the skill to be a quarterback in the NFL, which he's proved, you got to admit, he's proved a lot of people wrong. A lot of people on the field wise judging him said he would not last, that there was no hope for him. He was just going to be trying to run around too much and it just fall apart. But when you look at the game film and you truly understand, you don't think about what he's doing off the field and you evaluate him as a quarterback in the NFL, you will clearly see, yes, there's room for improvement, obviously, but that you could see him as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And but again, the off the field issues overweighs, especially nowadays in the NFL, in the spotlight of being a quarterback, that doesn't matter how much potential you have on the field, you will not make it in the NFL or anywhere now, not in college, not in high school, if you have off the field issues. Now, USA Today reported Manziel was in Las Vegas the weekend of the Browns finale for last season, and he missed the scheduled treatment for his concussions the morning of the finale, saying he didn't know what was supposed to happen, that apparently that he dressed up, to disguise him, and that he was drinking. Remember, he was in a 10-week rehab, supposedly. He was in a 10-week rehab facility and following through some protocol during the offseason last year, and thinking, okay, the alcohol issue is done. He's slowed down. He's realized he's matured. And then mid-season, late season, we kind of saw the same Manziel that we were all worried about. Now, more social media appearances and clubs followed just last weekend. This past weekend, police were called for an alleged assault in Fort Worth, Texas. Dallas and Fort Worth police are investigating, as is the league, about Manziel going over to his ex-girlfriend's house and whether there was assault or not. Who knows? They can't find a crime scene still, so that's still going. And Manziel's future is cloudy. We all know that the team, whether they sign him, they trade him, release him, it's just off the field. He needs help. Now, I do like what Michael Irvin had to say. If you haven't seen what he's said recently, check out. I'm sure all of y'all have heard the Rich Eisen podcast. Listen to that, or the show. Listen to it. And what he says, why he wants him to go to Dallas. Perfect. And a reason why, not just because he believes in him as a player, but believes that the Cowboys staff could actually change him off the field. And give it a shot. I know people are going to say, well, obviously he keeps getting in trouble in Fort Worth and in Dallas. Why should he go right there, right to the heart where all his friends and family are? Check it out. Just listen to what he had to say.
Let's get into it here. You really want Johnny Manziel with that star on the side of his helmet? You really would do that?
Well, you know what? I love the game of football, and I think the game of football saves lives. And you can get a football player, young guy. Let's talk about this, the reality.
Yeah,
Johnny Manziel won a Heisman Trophy at, 18, 19 years old?
He's still growing up.
Right, still growing up. I don't know why we think because the guy can throw a football, run a touchdown, that all of a sudden it makes him the most mature person in the world. There will come a time when he would cross over that threshold and become a great football player. And yeah, I'm willing to work with him on that, and I hope the Cowboys do get
Well,
him.
the reason, if we're getting into this, the reason why people think that is because here's a situation where most people would kill to do something like that. Have even in the tip of their pinky the amount of talent that Johnny Manziel has, okay? And or have the body in an entire body that he has at the tip of his pinky is what I mean to say.
Yes.
And here he is with football as an opportunity, and he's blowing it.
Yeah.
And he's blowing it, and a coach is fired, and a general manager is going to be fired, and he doesn't even show up for the final game, and people can't understand why there's an opportunity here that he's not understanding, and that football's not saving him right now.
Right, but people also think when you say most people will kill to do that, I don't know if that's true because sometimes a lot of people have talent. You don't have to kill. Just get your butt up and go work every day. Go work hard and magnify and bring out your talent. But a lot of people don't do that. They sit their butts on the couch and talk about the people that do it. So, you know, I'm okay. I know this kid has worked hard to get to where he is. So I'm like, okay, let's give the kid another shot. If Cleveland lets him go, he lands in a better spot. Maybe to get around the right kind of people to undergird him and help him become a better football player that later on will help him become a better man. I really believe in it. I believe that's what the game does.
And you think Dallas would be a spot? It wouldn't be with all sorts of problems, you know,
there's a lot of pressure come with playing in Dallas.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of pressure come with playing in Dallas, no doubt about that.
So you think it could actually work there, though?
I think when you're around people that are more sympathetic and have dealt with issues like the Dallas Cowboys, like a Jerry Jones, who will get in there and talk to him on a man-to-man level and help him come along as a man. I love Jerry. Guys, people talk a lot and say a lot about Jerry. I love the man to death because he helped me become a better man, you know, and he'll take his time. When you know there's somebody really pulling for you up in the higher offices, then it does make a difference. If you have any one iota of man in you, it makes a difference. And I think it can make a difference in this kid's life.
All righty. And then we have Super Bowl 50. It all comes down to this. We've all been talking about it, and it finally happens. It's exciting. We're going to talk about the Denver Broncos, obviously, and the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton, Peyton Manning, the last rodeo, the beginning for Cam Newton, what it's going to be. And we're going to talk about how they got here and obviously our predictions towards the game, a few stats, a few things like that. Now, the thing that concerns me with Denver, and really is my only concern, is their low scoring. Now, Denver has 11 victories by 7 or fewer points. That's the regular season and postseason combined. That's the most by any team in the Super Bowl era. Not only just this year. You know, defensively, they've been in it. One of the best defenses. They've been in Joe Flacco, Teddy Bridgewater, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Jay Cutler, and also 2 wins over Phillip Rivers of the San Diego Chargers and Tom Brady, both regular season and postseason in the AFC Championship game. They've beaten 5 teams that have made the playoff this year. The Panthers, just 3. Only beat 3 teams. And that was since November 8th, too. Now, the Panthers, they've allowed 1 100-yard rusher in Jamal Charles back in week 2. The Broncos have surrendered a league low 3.3 yards per carry, per attempt. There's something about this Broncos team that, while they are the probably one of the biggest underdogs talked about, next to when the Seattle Seahawks were when they were going against the Broncos, when they were the underdogs, they win close games. They know it. They've been in it. Obviously 11 victories by 7 or fewer points this season. They played some great quarterbacks on the road and off and at home, but they've stuck together. But you also have to look at it on the other side. It's a handful. If a handful of those close wins don't go the way, if the defense doesn't make a play, if the offense doesn't do something, C.J. Anderson doesn't pick up those big runs, this entire season we have the New England Patriots basically in the Super Bowl right now. Because again, just a handful of those 11 victories easily could have been losses. I know you can say, well, it's a tough and gritty team of the Denver Broncos. They stuck with it, and they just outperformed the other team. That's why they made them. That's why they were better. Yeah, but I mean, you also have to look at that flip side where one play changes it for them, and they're not even in the playoffs. And offensively, it's been their problem, and that's what one comparison they've looked at the past time, the Broncos were in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and then now Broncos, they were led by Peyton Manning that year when they got blown out in the Seahawks. They were led by Peyton. Defense, all right, but they were led by Peyton Manning. This year, he's a game manager, whether he likes it or not, and the defense has led the Broncos to the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning's just been on the ride. But whether if he was just being, on the bench or he was playing, he's just been on for the ride on the last rodeo. So, that it makes me question. But that also gives you hope for the Broncos, knowing that they're led by this defense, which has done such an amazing job, and they got one more game left in them. And you think, okay, well, Peyton Manning, he's going to give it all. He's going to give it all. Whether he's got a noodle arm or he's got that strong arm from a few years ago, he's going to give it his all. That's all you can ask. Now, for the Panthers on the other side, their season began with predictions of just hope that this team could get above 500. They won't be a 7-9 team anymore. They won't be a 6-10. They won't be an 8-8 team. And hoping that maybe a 10-6, maybe a sniff at 11-5. They crushed it. And you were questioning, can Cam step up? Can he be a true leader of this team? Can he lead this team to multiple victories? Can he have bigger drives and do it all for him, just running and throwing? Can the Panthers finish, again, a season over 500? Then star wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin went down, and you're thinking, great, they have no receivers. They've got nothing. This team we're looking at another 6-10, 7-9. I was on that boat. I don't hate the Carolina Panthers. I like them. I'm not a bandwagoner, but I just believe that Panthers weren't going to make it more than an 8-8 season, maybe 9-7 if they're lucky. That was it. They proved everybody wrong. 15-1, and if they showed up, they didn't have those distractions, a short week of practice due to weather. Maybe they're undefeated right now. You never know. Now, again, the Panthers, we knew that they had a healthy quarterback in Cam Newton. Their defense had ranked in the top 10 the past 3 years, so we knew it was going to be pretty solid, somewhere up there. Greg Olsen has, shown glimpses and has been pretty productive for them. And Jonathan Stewart, when healthy, very reliable back and really good. The defense pushed through all expectations. And it led Carolina, along with the emergence of Cam Newton, being an MVP. I think we all know he's the MVP of the season. And Panthers have led the NFL 31 points per game. Number 6 total defense in the league. You add all that up, and you got this Panthers team. Luke Kuechly, one of the smartest linebackers in the league right now. And the wide receiver core, again, has been shockingly one of the best. You got the speed of veteran. Who would have thought that there's no dust in his cleats right now. He's speeding on through. Ted Ginn Jr., Philly Brown or Corey Brown, whatever you want to call him, he's done well. Now, and then you have the surge of a 6'5" wide receiver in Devin Funchess. He's only had 3 catches and 33 yards in the playoffs, but the end of the regular season, he had, I believe, 7 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Just went off. That, and especially how they've had a longer week of practice, being able to study the Broncos. Maybe you're thinking Devin Funchess has a bigger game. Maybe he has the same performance, if not maybe better, than Chris Matthews did for the Seattle Seahawks back in last year's Super Bowl. Remember, he came out of nowhere, the big wide receiver, over 100 yards, and if the Seahawks win, maybe he's the Super Bowl MVP. And honestly, I think he is the MVP of the Super Bowl if the Seahawks run the ball. And we're all gonna know that the Broncos, if they know they need to run the ball, they're gonna run the ball at the goal line. Panthers, the same thing with Cam. Let's just run the ball. Now the Broncos, they haven't faced a running quarterback like Newton all season, and I know there's not a lot of quarterbacks you can compare to Newton, but overall, just a guy that can run and throw the ball effectively. Now, Newton had 10 rushing touchdowns during the season and 2 more in the NFC Championship game. He helped put up 31 points on Seattle's second-ranked defense in the league in the divisional playoff, and then they put up, how many? 45 against the number 5 ranked defense in the league against the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship. So, with Newton being a multi-dimensional quarterback, something the Broncos haven't seen, and just the hype going into this that I believe they're going to fulfill, that's why I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers 28, the Denver Broncos 17. I think that's it. I think Broncos wrap it up. The Panthers wrap it up. I think they're able to go. I don't think they're going to score 30 points. I don't think they're going to obviously score 45 against the Broncos team. But I also don't believe the Broncos can go point per point against Cam Newton and this Panthers offense. The defense has just been outstanding. And the offense, right back at it. Jonathan Stewart doing his thing. Cam Newton, obviously, Greg Olsen. All these guys are complimenting each other and giving it all. They're laying it all out there for them. Defensively, again, doing their thing. Broncos, defense is going to do all its best. They know that they're not being talked about. That the only thing they're saying, well, the defense gives them a shot. They want to know defense is going to help. It's going to win this game for them. They're done hearing about Cam Newton dabbing in the end zone, giving that first down sign. They're done with that. Khalib, can't even say his name. Talib, he's going to do his thing. Chris Harris is going to do his thing. Bradley Roby, he's doing his thing as a third cornerback and showing potential of being a starter in the future years. And Von Miller, they know, and you got the defensive tackle, the young defensive line. They are tired of hearing the Cam Newton and dabbing. Not hate against them, just they're tired of everybody picking the Panthers. So, it's going to be close. And we're back live. Camera, don't do that. I wouldn't be surprised if I can remember what I'm trying to say. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if the Seattle Seahawks game kind of comes back to Peyton's mind. If a fumble happens and he's like, man, and things just start not going their way. Could see it somewhat of a repeat. A dominant defense against Peyton Manning. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be a great game. All I hope for, and I think that's what everybody hopes for, is that this game goes down to the fourth quarter. Whether the game's officially over at the beginning of the fourth or at the last second, just take it all the way. Because the Super Bowl halftime show is going to be the worst in NFL history. Lady Gaga singing national anthem. I mean, they're kind of setting us up for failure. And if this field of the Santa Clara Stadium, Levi Stadium, if it's the same as what you're used to, this could be a very sloppy game. So hopefully these two teams can just give it all, take it all the way to the fourth, and let's just enjoy a great Super Bowl. I will see you guys next Wednesday here on the Short Sports Show podcast. Don't worry, it's still there on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, YouTube, Stitcher Radio, everywhere. Thank you guys so much for the support. Love you all. And I will be back next Wednesday. As always, God first, God bless. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. We changed it, not Short Sports 24/7. It is now at Short Sports Show. Links are all in the description below. Thank you once again, and I'll see you guys Wednesday. I'm out. Peace.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
I didn't came way too far for me to stop it now. I didn't work way too hard just to drop it now. We came so